Hey guys, it's Nate and I'm back and I'm so excited and I'm so happy to be posting on a channel that nobody knows about, so I don't subconsciously limit myself to what I'm saying, because I know it's so easy whenever you have people watching you and you know who's watching you and you know who's on your stuff to like subconsciously hold back without even realizing it. So I know on this channel I'm gonna have a safe space to say whatever I want about whatever, whoever I want, and it makes me feel really comfortable and really excited, because I feel like that's how my purpose is gonna happen. That's how I'm gonna, make something out of my purpose. This is how I'm gonna actually be able to create. So without further ado, I'm gonna keep talking and I'm not gonna cut the video. I'm not gonna stop it. I'm just gonna talk and let you guys know how I feel. So I wanted to get into being like a people pleaser and being so kind and letting people walk all over you. Because I feel like there's nothing wrong with being super kind, but I noticed that oftentimes whenever you're super kind or you're super nice and you let people walk all over you, like sometimes we do it because we trick our brains into thinking and feeling like if we're kind, it makes us a better person. Like, yeah, I might get walked over. Yeah, people may constantly cross my boundaries. Yeah, people may treat me like absolute shit, but at least I'm a kind person. At least I'm a nice person. At least my heart is better than most people's. And honestly, I literally had to unlearn and rewire my brain into not feeling like that, and to not using my niceness to make me feel better about myself, because being nice never got me anywhere in life. It only got people to walk all over me, people to come to me for advice and talk to me on and on and on without me ever having a safe space to talk to them, without me ever having a safe space to confide in them, without me getting invites, without me a whole bunch of things, without me getting respect. I used to think that just because if I was in a relationship with somebody who didn't treat me well, at least I'm a nice person. At least my heart is so good that I'm trying to change them. At least I have a good enough heart to try and change somebody. Most people don't have a good enough heart to try and change somebody. You know how twisted that way of thinking is? To think that because you lowered your self-respect, at least you're nice? No. In a relationship where two people are codependent, meaning where one person is walking all over you and where you let them walk all over you, it takes two. If there was nobody to walk all over, they wouldn't be walking all over you. And if you didn't allow them to walk all over you, they wouldn't. If you didn't tolerate people who walked all over you, they would be non-existent too. Like, they wouldn't even be in your life. But because you're the kind of person who allows it and they're the kind of person who gives it, you guys go hand in hand with each other. And, excuse me, you might sit here and tell yourself, at least I'm a good person, at least I have a kind heart, to make yourself feel better about yourself. But you need to stop doing that, because there's nothing to feel good about. You shouldn't feel good about the fact that you let people walk all over you. You should not feel good about the fact that you lower your standards just to people please somebody else. You shouldn't feel good about the fact that you have somebody willing to disrespect you over and over and over again because you cannot set boundaries. That is not something to be proud about. You could have a good heart without having to do all of those things. Just because you do all those things doesn't mean that you have a good heart. Maybe you're just selfish and you need somebody to boost your ego and you need somebody to make you feel like you're nice, because you just being doesn't make you feel good enough. Because if you really felt like you were a good-hearted person, if you were a nice person, if you were a kind person, you wouldn't have to perform it. You wouldn't have to put up this act and keep doing things that make you seem nice to other people. You wouldn't have to perform. But you're performing because you subconsciously don't believe it. So you have to convince other people and convince your family members and your partners and your friends, your coworkers. You have to sit here and convince everybody around you that you're a nice person by doing nice things, because you alone, just being, isn't good enough convincing for yourself. So stop being selfish and stop treating people who have boundaries as if they're these selfish people. If you ask for a ride at 2 a.m. and nobody wants to give it to you, don't sit here and have a pity party because other people value their sleep. Maybe they have kids and they got to get up the next morning and they have stuff to do, or they have plans, and getting out of bed to go save you from the same thing you probably do constantly over and over and over again. They don't want to do that because they have self-respect and they care about themselves and they care about their own families. So don't sit here and make people feel selfish because you expect people to lower their self-respect because it's something you would do. And no, I'm not saying that if you want to do these kind things and you have the time to do kind things that you shouldn't do kind things. Don't get it twisted. I say all of this stuff with discretion. Like, of course, it's okay to be a nice person and do kind things, but what I am saying is don't sit here and do kind things just to prove a point that you're a kind person, because doing that is going to get you nowhere in life. It's going to get you walked all over. It's going to get you not invited anywhere. It's going to get you used only when people are in crisis. You're going to become the crisis friend, where people come to you whenever they're in crisis, but they don't come to you because they actually care and value you. Where nobody asks you questions about how you're doing or how your day is going or what you're up to, because you're only useful to them when you're useful to them. You understand me? So stop sitting here and throwing yourself a pity party and being like, I'm so nice and people are just mean to me and people walk all over me. No, they walk all over you because you let them. Because you don't have self-respect, you don't value yourself. Because if you did value yourself, you wouldn't put up with the things that you put up with. And I say that because I was once that girl. I don't say that because I've never been there. I say that because I know that I wish I had somebody who was willing to sit there and throw this tough love at me whenever I needed it. I wish that I had somebody who would have just sat there and told me, Nevaeh, like, you're a good person. You don't have to sit here and prove you're a good person to be one. You don't have to sit here and prove that you're a good person by doing all these things for people. You don't have to sit here and listen to people vent and pretend that you guys are friends when really you're the only friend in this relationship. You're the only one who's actually there for this person. That's not your friend, you're theirs. Does that make you a good person? No, it just makes you somebody who allows people to walk all over you. It makes you somebody who is convenient. That doesn't make you a good person. You're a good person because you are, Nevaeh. You're a good person because when people are pouring into you, you will equally pour back into them. You're a good person because whenever people call you consistently, you're willing to call them consistently. When people check up on you, you check up on them. When they're there for you, you're there for them. But you don't have to go out of your way and do things for people who will not do the same things for you, who will not reciprocate that energy for you to be a good person. That doesn't make you a good person. That makes you a pushover. I wish I would have had somebody telling me that. It would have changed so much about me, and I would have felt so empowered to be not selfish, to have self-respect. I would have felt so empowered to care about myself, to value my time, to value my conversation, to value my mental health, if somebody would have just told me that. And obviously, like, I had friends who said certain things and tried to pour into me in certain ways, and they could only do what they could do because their cup wasn't full either, because I attracted other people who didn't have as much self-respect either, because that's the vibration I was on. Obviously, I was attracting people who were also in toxic relationships, or people who also I did have good friends, but with people who were also being walked all over, allowed their parents to walk all over them, or their friends, or their boyfriend, or their girlfriend, the same way I allowed people to walk all over me. And I was attracting those kind of people because that's the vibration I was on. So of course, yeah, they might have tried to tell me things about myself or pour into me or, give me advice, but they could only give me so much because they were going through the same experience as me. They hadn't overcome their lives yet. They hadn't overcome their toxic situations yet. They hadn't grown to the level of who I wanted to be yet. So obviously they couldn't pour into me from an empty cup either. They poured into me from what they can, and I'm grateful for that. But if I would have had a me in my life, who I am now, talking to my little 14, 15-year-old self, I would have been so grateful to have somebody tell me that it is okay to love myself and not feel guilty for it. So the moral of this video and the point of this video is just to tell you to love yourself. Stop feeling guilty for loving yourself. Doing all these nice things doesn't make you a good person. It makes you a pushover. Yes, you could do nice things, but you do it for those who deserve it and those who are going to reciprocate that energy. And of course, you might come across a stranger where you do nice things for them. That's okay too. But I'm just saying, don't sit here and try to convince other people that you're a good person, because you know that their validation is the only thing that's going to make you believe you're a good person. Stop doing that. No, if you want to believe you're a good person, tell yourself right now that you're a good person. It's a mindset. If you want to be a good person, tell yourself, I'm a good person. I reciprocate energy, and become that person. But don't sit here and waste your time trying to prove stuff to people. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm very appreciative just to have a space to talk, give advice, say what I truly want to say. And I'm just extremely grateful for this opportunity to even live in 2025, where you could get on camera and record a video and really just talk and post it, and it goes out into the world for people to hear and like change. That means so much to me. And I know that what I have to say is not gonna you know, it's not meant for everybody. It's not going to hit everybody the same way. It's not going to make everybody feel how it would have made my younger self feel. But as long as I know that this may go out to at least one person who needs to hear it, that's enough. That's me serving my purpose. So thank you guys for listening. I'm going to try to come on here, and if I just record on my phone and have to keep going on my phone, that is what it is. My laptop broke, so I can't edit videos from my camera. And I think maybe that was meant to happen because it makes it feel so much more authentic when I just pull out my phone and know I'm not going to edit the video. Know that even my stutters and stuff are going to be showing up in the video. So thank you guys for watching. I feel extremely blessed and grateful just to even be able to speak. Anyways, have a good night. I love you guys. Bye.